What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at some of the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse McFarlane Collection Edition figures. So we have these three here to look at. First, starting off with the Red Hood. So the original Red Hood, where the Joker was the Red Hood. So that's pretty cool. Like that design, getting that classic one. Comes with some cool weapons as well. Then we've got Ragman, which looks pretty awesome. Nice design. You know, this is how I always picture Ragman. So he looks cool with some effects to go along with him. And then finally we have Clock King, which looks cool. Pretty crazy and like cheesy looking character with a bunch of clocks all over him. Comes with some cool like clock arm weapons. Looks awesome for him. And then finally we're going to be throwing in here Jonah Hex with the General. So we had Jonah Hex with looks like soft goods jacket, and then his horse as well. So another McFarlane horse, and he comes with all sorts of weapons as you see there. So that looks really cool, as well as a gold label figure for the McFarlane Collector Edition. So that is pretty cool as well. So 4 figures to look at and a horse. So I'm excited to check these out. So let me get them open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Red Hood, who of course is the Joker. He's from Detective Comics number 168 that was released in February 1951, where this comic reveals that the Joker was actually the Red Hood that Batman had encountered in his past, and he tried to steal $1 million from his boss at the time, but Batman interfered, so the Joker fled to Ace Chemical Plant, where he fell into a vat, but survived because of his hood. However, his body had been discolored by the chemicals, and he adopted the identity as the Joker. So this is supposedly what Joker looked like before he became the Joker, and overall looks decent here. So we get a Joker body pretty much we've already had before, and I'll show you that comparison, you know, just reuse of the body, just the Joker body, but looks good in the all black suit. Looks pretty nice. Love the shininess of the lapels there. We get a white shirt underneath with a bow tie all in black, and get a little bit of a vest there. He's got white gloves on his hands like the Joker likes to wear, and then suit pants that go down to his feet, where he's got the black shoes on and the white spats on top of it. So that looks really nice. So I love all like the black and white color, you know, it looks like he's in black and white, but then we get the red hood, so we get this big domed hood on his head, as it's called. So like the big dome piece there, which looks pretty cool. Just, you know, not much to it, just a big dome piece all in red with a red cape as well hanging off the back, which is a nice fabric cape, and it's got metal wire in it so you can get it moved around. So that's pretty nice. Love that they're adding a lot of like fabric material to figures that have capes and stuff now, so that's really nice. But overall, pretty basic body, and like I said, a Joker we've already had before, so nothing really out of the ordinary there. It's just cool to get the Joker form of the Red Hood that was the original version from the comics. Now for move-wise, we can move his head, so his head will twist all the way around, and it looks down that far and then up a little there. So just a little bit of movement in the head, and there's nothing underneath here. It's just, you know, the empty dome and the way it's designed, so there's no like hidden head under there or anything, and no additional head to go along with it. Then the shoulders will come up to 90. Of course, have like that butterfly design in there, and it'll rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends all the way up on itself there. We get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and hinge back and forth, whether the hinge is hidden there it is, up and down. Then we can go to the ab crunch, which I doubt will be able to move too much, but he should have some move, especially like with his waist and all that. So just a little bit of rocking back and forth is all it is, and can twist around as well. And the ab feels more like his waist or something. It's hard to really tell though what's going on in there specifically. Then we get the hips that can come up that far, forcing it. That's as far as I can go, so not up to 90. Out to the side can go that far. And get closer to the splits the more you force it, but at least that far there. Has very little thigh twist and the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, very close, pretty much kicking himself in the butt. Then we go down to the foot, that'll rock back and forth. Of course, with like the pant leg, don't get a whole lot of range, but just a little back and forth. Can twist side to side and get the toe joint on the end. So it works out pretty good. You know, like I said, we've already had this before, so not seeing anything new with the body, but overall works out fine. You know, not too many issues. Just get a bit covered up in the midsection there, so don't get ab crunches and all that going on, but still looks good overall. But for accessories, we do get some weapons. So first we get a little knife, so it looks almost like a little switchblade or something like that. So just this little knife. Now he only comes with 1 grip hand, so we can only give him 1 weapon at a time, but that's pretty cool though that he comes with the little knife there. He also comes with the crossbow, which I think I'll probably give him because I like the crossbow a lot, but we get this crossbow design, nice little there, all in silver, so we can put that into his hand. So there he's got the crossbow, and then he comes with this big pickaxe as it was labeled, so this nice big axe. Of course, kind of crazy, too big and all that, but nice big pickaxe design there, which is cool, so we can give that to him as well. But like I said, I think for me, I like the crossbow. We, of course, get the base we can put him on, so there he is there. And as I said, we've already had, especially the main base body here already before, so we have this Joker from the 3 Jokers. I can't remember which one it is, but the base body is going to be exactly the same, just purple on this figure compared to the black and and white design of the Red Hood there, so we have that. And of course we know later on in the comics that Jason Todd turns into the Red Hood, so there we get his version of the Red Hood. So we got from the original form where it was the Joker into the Jason Todd Red Hood, which is pretty cool there. So just the transformation from the Red Hood into the new Red Hood and the Joker. But that leads us to his card. So there's a picture of him from that comic cover. Of course, his suit looks all nice and like purple there. So I think there is a variant, like a platinum edition version, where it is in the purple suit compared to the black that we have there. But there's what he looks like. And of course, we get his story on the back. That says the Joker past remains a mystery, but Batman believes his nemesis was once the brilliant leader of the Red Hood gang, a criminal outfit that plagued Gotham City early during Batman's career. After a fall into a vat of chemicals stained his skin white and his hair green, this Red Hood seemed to opt for a career as the Joker, giving in to his every insane impulse. So there's a little bit more on the Red Hood there. And of course, each of these comes with the stand, so we get the little stand that we can put the card in. So there we can display that alongside with our Red Hood figure there. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice looking card to go along with the Red Hood. So that looks pretty nice overall for our Red Hood figure. And next up we have Ragman, whose real name is Rory Reagan. Ragman was created with the Suit of Souls, which is a mystical Jewish artifact created many centuries ago to protect the Jewish communities, that is made of rags that contains the soul of evildoers that have been punished. So the suit got passed on to Rory by his father, and Rory uses the suit to do good in his community, becoming a member of the Shadow Pact, which is a team of supernatural heroes formed to fight against the Spectre. Now as far as powers, it's pretty much just his suit, which has the ability to steal souls, sense evil, gives him superhuman durability, as well as levitation, teleportation, and he has the ability to control the suit and wrap people in rags. So that all sounds pretty cool for Ragman, and I like this execution overall. I don't like the hood. The hood's the only thing that I don't like too much about this figure, but everything else about it looks good. So we have the smaller body we've had multiple times before. I always think of like the smaller Beast Boy that we've gotten is in this exact same body, so it's the nice smaller body, but we get the cape on him as well, so another fabric material here. It has a nice wire, especially on the end here, and I love how it's all tattered and has the holes, so that looks really nice. And then we get the cape all tied around his neck, so we even get some string material here. Not exactly sure what's all going on, if it's like a whole just a little circle around, or if this actually has any function. And then we get the hood piece as well. Like I said, I don't really like that it has the point in the back. You know, that's probably just a part of his outfit design, probably usually hangs down like this, but just with this figure design, it doesn't really do that. And then there is also a metal wire around his face, so you can sort of get it adjusted there however you want, but I can't really get it to look too good on him, unfortunately. And then we get the suit. Like I said, we've had this body before. It's just all painted green this time, and then has like the patchwork design painted on top of it, so you can see that's had all the little patches of material sewn into it across and stuff. So it looks good, you know, it looks like how Ragman does, and when we see the card, you'll see that similarity, so it carries off that look. I just feel there could be more into it. There's a lot of just basic green there on it, and I like the cape design and the way it's holy and all that. That looks pretty neat there. I just, like I said, the hood's the thing that's the most disappointing thing to me about this. But for movements, we get his head that'll twist around, so it can twist around there. So yeah, even with that hood piece, it'll twist all the way around. Can look down that far and up that far, so nice movements in there with that. We get the shoulders that do come up to 90 with that butterfly. Of course, doesn't really move much at all, but it is there, and we'll rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that'll bend all the way up on itself. We get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth there. Then we go to the ab crunch. So we get the upper ab crunch, crunch forward, crunch back, not much forward, but a little more back there, and we'll twist around. Then we go down to the hips that'll rock back and forth and twist around. Then we get the hips that'll come up towards 90, out to the side, can display that far. A little bit of a thigh twist in there. The double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, not far from kicking his butt. Then we get the foot that'll rock back and forth, twist side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So again, having this figure before, it's the exact same movements, and then of course similar movements to all the other McFarlane, just, you know, maybe a little bit better range in some spots, but not too bad at all for him. But for accessories, the only thing he comes with is some of these effects. Now I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. Of course, they're in this like see-through green color that almost look like constructs. Now I don't know if we like take these and like wrap them around his arm, so it's like his powers sort of shooting out, or we could reverse them so he has like the powers almost wrapping around himself. So like this design, you know, coming out from him, or if we're supposed to put these on people he's fighting and it's like wrapping up his enemies. So again, not exactly sure what's going on here or how this exactly works. Of course, they don't stick on very well either way. You just do something like that, and it's like I said, his rags sort of coming off him. So not exactly sure how that works out. And then, of course, comes with the base. And then we get his card, so there's a nice picture of him, which looks cool. And again, you can see his outfit design there with all the patchwork, and then his hood with the cape with all the souls and all that in there, which is pretty cool. Then we get his story, which says war veteran Rory Reagan was the only survivor of his unit. His buddies died and were sucked into the suit of souls they found in an ancient desert vault. They stayed inside Reagan's head when he returned to Gotham City, followed by an army of demons seeking to reclaim the rags that had bonded with him. Reagan, now inextricably linked to the mantle of hell, demonic armor that absorbs souls to generate power, able to steal the life of living and never-born humans and demons. Rory, his ex-wife and child were prey for various factions trying to retrieve it. Determined to atone for his sins, Reagan began fighting evil, where it became clear that all he could depend on were his instincts and the advice of the dead soldiers in his head. So there's more explanation for Ragman and his suit of souls. And of course we get the little stand to put the card in. So just like that. And overall pretty cool. Like I said, I like the figure. I wish the body could be a little bit better and more detailed, but love the cape. Again, I wish the hood didn't have that point on it, so it looked a little more intimidating, and then knew what these effects were supposed to be for exactly. But overall, it's cool to get Ragman. You know, looks like Ragman, so it's hard to really complain more than that. But it is cool to get him added to the collection. And next up we have Clock King, who is William Tuchman. He spent most of his life taking care of his invalid sister until doctors told him that he had 6 months to live. So he decided to rob a bank so his sister would have money for when he moved on, but he ended up being caught by a Green Arrow. And while he was in prison, his sister died, and he found out that his doctor had actually switched up papers with another patient, so he actually wasn't sick and wasn't going to die. So he escaped prison and sought revenge on Green Arrow as the supervillain Clock King that is obsessed with time and uses clock-related gadgets. So overall, looks pretty cool, but also cheesy at the same time. Just a guy all completely covered in clocks. Even has a big clock face on his head there. And I love how it kind of makes a face, you know, with the two arms being like little eyes almost, and the line here being a mouth. So it's kind of fun. And then he's got the clocks all over his body. Love the colors as well, with this bright blue color, like, you know, this lighter blue with almost like the neon greenish yellows on him as well. Looks pretty crazy. So we get the cowl that comes up, or, you know, head covering, whatever there, with the cape coming down the back, which of course another fabric cape has metal wire in it as well. Then he's got the underwear with a belt on that's got a clock on the belt, some green gloves that come up, and I love how he has watches on each of his arms there. Again, more of the blue continuing down with the clocks all over his legs, all the way down to the greenish color boots there on his feet. So just a funny design, but it looks pretty cool. Like, I really like the design and all that, but it's clocks, you know, it's not really that intimidating. But movement-wise, we can do the head that'll twist all the way around. I look down that far and up that far, so decent movements there in the head. We get the shoulders that come up to 90, again with that butterfly, and we'll rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that'll bend up that far, which isn't bad at all. We get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and flex back and forth. Then we can go to the ab crunch, so we'll do the upper crunch back and forth there and twist around. And then down at the waist, we'll crunch back, not very much at all, but a little bit of crunching and twist, yeah, barely at all there either. So I don't know what's going on with that lower waist section. Then the hips will come up, and we force it there, it can get pretty close to 90. Out to the side, can do the splits, get a little bit of a thigh twist in there, and the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, not too bad at all. And then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth, twist side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So once again, pretty good movements. Those are pretty much standard McFarlane movements, but still pretty good range for him overall. Nothing too bad with that. Oh, and I also forgot to point out around his shoulders there, he does have some design. I assume that's supposed to be part of holding on his cape, you know, like a band, you know, to hold his cape on, or if that's just supposed to be the wrinkles around the shoulders there, you know, with moving his arms, you know, it gets wrinkled up there. Not exactly sure, but just love that additional detail of whatever it's exactly supposed to be. Now, accessory-wise, comes with some weird weapons, but also cool at the same time. So we get two swords that are clock hands, so pretty cool. So they come off a clock, you know, it'd be like this for telling the hour and minutes, but now they are turned into swords. So we'll put the longer sword in his right hand, shorter sword in the left hand. So let's go and put these in. So there's the swords in his hands. Now, I'm not exactly sure how he should hold them. I just put them in his hands like this because I thought that would be how they were, but I guess you could also put the rings in his hands, so, you know, just hold on to the ring. I just feel that'd be a weird way to fight with those, but I'm not exactly exactly sure how he holds them, but it is still pretty cool. I like the swords being designed off clock hands and stuff. I think that is pretty cool. Now he does come with the base, which I do need to use because I do have a lot of issues getting him to stand for some reason. So that'll help keep him standing. Then of course we get his card, so there's a nice picture of him. You can see him fighting Green Arrow there in the background and a bunch of clocks for Clock King there. And then on the back we have his info, which says the Clock King was considered to be a third-tier villain by authorities thanks to his lack of superpowers and his weird fixation with clocks. Born the aptly named William Tachman, the Clock King commenced his criminal career after doctors incorrectly diagnosed that he was struck down by a fatal disease and only had a short time to live. Determined to make every second of his life count, he executed a string of clock-themed robberies as the Clock King. Tachman's overall goal was to steal enough money so that his disabled sister would be well cared for after his death. So there's a little bit tiny more information, and of course we get the stand for the card. So there we have that to go along with Clock King, which looks pretty nice. So overall, a funny, quirky character with the clock theme and all that, but I think he looks really cool. Definitely one of my favorite figures today just because of the way he looks, of the colors that stand out quite bright there. So very nice to get Clock King for our collection. And our final figure today is Jonah Hex, who was born in Missouri in 1838, and he suffered abuse by his alcoholic father until he was sold as a slave to the Apache tribe. There he saved the chieftain from a puma attack, so the chief took him in as his adopted son, but this angered the chief's real son, and he betrayed Jonah Hex and left him to die. But Jonah ended up being saved by a trapper and was nursed back to health, and he eventually returned to civilization and became a member of the cavalry of the Confederate States Army during the Civil War. But having been a slave himself, he didn't want to fight for slavery, so he surrendered to the Union, and he found his way back to his old tribe to settle his issues with the chieftain's son. So he and his brother decided to resolve their issues by combat, but his brother sabotaged Jonah's tomahawk, so Jonah ended up using a knife and killed his brother, but in doing so he broke the rules of combat, so the chieftain scarred the right side of his face with the mark of the demon by using a heated tomahawk, and he was then banished from the tribe. So Jonah then became a bounty hunter bound by his personal code of honor to protect and avenge the innocent, and that's what we have him as here. So he looks pretty good overall. Of course, mentioning that he was a part of the Confederacy in the Civil War, it kind of explains his outfit design here. So he has the cowboy hat that's all gray, so wears a lot of gray and stuff, but the gray cowboy hat, you know, very much like the Confederacy. And then like I said, his outfit, so he has like the shirt on, it's got like a grayish color, but also, you know, like a creamish sort of color to it with a gray shirt underneath it there, then the gray trench coat on over the top of that. Then we go down, he's got like some blue pants on, or, you know, blue jean designs, whatever you want to call it there, but a nice belt around the waist, and then a holster here as well that has different slots to store some weapons in. Again, those blue jeans going down all the way to the boots, where again he has sort of boots that they would have wore at that point in time that look pretty good. So the boot designs there, and love the big cuffs at the top of them, and like a black color as well, and even like the painting of the dirt and stuff all up his legs. So overall looks pretty nice for that. And as mentioned, his right side of his face is all scarred, so he's got the nice big burn marks, so you can see some of his teeth or cheeks missing out of there. Of course, we can still see his hair, and he has like the mutton chop designs, and then his eye looks all creepy as well, missing part of his eyelid, so his eyes just always open like that. And then we get the normal side of his face, so it looks pretty good there with a nice long chin on him. So overall looks pretty decent for Jonah Hex and how I've always seen it pictured, so looks pretty nice like that. And then of course also has the fabric coat on over the top of him, so again another fabric, so every single figure has had fabric on him. But movement-wise, we get that'll twist all the way around. Can look down that far and up that far, so nice movements there in the head. The shoulders can come up to 90 with like the butterfly joint, and will rotate around. He also has a bicep twist, of course hidden all under the jacket here, which we could take off, but it moves easily without it. So the bicep twist and the double elbow joint, that bends all the way up on itself there. Then we go down to the wrist, so the wrist will twist around, and again hinge wherever the hand is, so it moves up and down there. Then we go to his ab crunch, so we can see the upper ab crunch cut out there, so crunch back and forth and twist around, and then go down to his waist, well, crunch back and forth and twist around. Down to the hips, that can come up that far, which isn't too bad, but about 45, and then out to the side, he can go that far, so not all the way to the split. He does have a thigh twist as well, so we get the thigh cut out, so that'll twist all the way around, so we get that on both legs, and the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, kicking himself in the butt, so good range there. Then we go down to the foot, that'll rock back and forth again, not much range, so the foot will rock back and forth, a little bit of twisting side to side, not much at all, and then the toe joint on the end. So it works out pretty decent. Like I said, not the best movements ever, especially like in the hip section there, but everything else has pretty nice range. So overall, pretty cool figure for Jonah Hex here. Now, of course, he comes with another number of weapon accessories that we can give to him. So first we get a big knife, so a big Bowie knife, so that looks pretty cool. Nice big knife there. Now he has different slots on his belt here on like his holster and stuff that we can stick stuff in. Not exactly sure where I want to keep stuff. Let's maybe put the knife in on this side. So it'll just slide right in there and store. And then he also comes with his cavalry sword. So being a part of the cavalry, we get a nice sword there. So that's pretty nice with a nice gold handle on that. And we can store this into the other side. So there he's got his sword on his left side there, ready to draw with his right hand. And then he also comes with a tomahawk. Of course, a more modern looking tomahawk, but still looks cool with the nice silver blade on it. Wooden handle, all that looks cool. And with this, we can store it into the back. So he has a slot back here we can store this in. So we can like just store it there like that. So he has all of the like handheld weapons there, bladed weapons, whatever you want to call them. So we have that. So there we got Jonah all together with that. But then he also comes with another belt that we could put on him instead that has slots for guns. So we can switch this out. Now with this belt, this back slot is also pretty big enough that we could also take like his rifle that he comes with and store it down. Now I don't know how he'd get around with that rifle just sticking out his back. Of course, it could be hidden under his jacket and all that. So he always has a gun sort of hidden on him, but it does fit in there. But like I said, I think the tomahawk makes much more sense for it. But like I said, we get this other belt that we can put around him. And with that belt, we can give him his 2 revolvers. So we get these 2 pistol revolvers. Look pretty cool. Nice designs on those and everything. So we can obviously store these into the holsters here on his thighs. So those are stored there. And then it also has an additional slot that we can then take like that tomahawk again and store it to the back. So it's stored on there as well. So you can have that stored away there, which is pretty cool. So overall, pretty nice design for this. Love that he comes with extra belts and everything. So you can give him different weapons depending if you want to have him have more blades, have more guns, whichever you would prefer there. But overall, looks good. Now I do have a lot of issues getting him to stand. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with his feet. But thankfully, he comes with the base we can put him on. So that base keeps him standing, and there I got that rifle into his hand as well. So that looks pretty cool overall for him there. And of course, he also comes with the general, his horse, which was just the original horse of Jonah Hex that was eventually killed by gunfire. So we get the nice brown horse design. Of course, a dark brown, but looks pretty nice, especially, of course, we get its mane there over to the side. Has, of course, the straps that go around there so you can guide onto it, the nice saddle and all that. We've seen horses before, especially like the Dark Knight Returns wave horse. Has a nice fabric piece. Of course, this is rubber, but it's supposed to be, a fabric piece that sits over the horse to help protect its back. Then you put the saddle on over that. It has all sorts of like satchels and bags and all around it. We get the stirrups here off to the side with the nice silver piece. Then the horse itself looks nice, tail off the back. Again, this darker brown color. We get the hooves there for it. Just overall looks pretty nice. Nice design overall for the horse. And of course, it has movements, so the head can move back and forth. Of course, it's hard to do these movements, but the head can move back and forth and twist side to side. And then we go down to the neck where I'll look up, look down there. So you get movements there in the head. Then we can go to the legs, which will move back and forth. Of course, they're always real stiff on these, but hip leg can move back and forth. Then down to a knee joint where it can move back and forth and has a little bit of twisting side to side. Then down to the hoof as well, can move back and forth and has a little twisting side to side. Then we go to the back legs, which will be similar, so they can move back and forth there. Go down to the knee where it can move back and forth. This one, bends a little bit more forward there and has some rotation. Of course, real stiff, but it does rotate. And then the hoof can rock back and forth and twist side to side, just like the front one. And then, of course, the tail in the back can rock back and forth and twist side to side. So overall, pretty nice horse design. Now, this horse does seem a little bit smaller, like especially if we bring in the Dark Knight Returns one. This horse seems much bigger, just overall in size. Like the back seems a little bit higher. It's got much bigger hoofs. I don't know if that's just something they changed or just some specifically for the Dark Knight Returns horse that they did, but much bigger horse there. But overall, this horse looks nice, looks like a real horse, so nothing really to complain too much about that. So with this horse, we can then take Jonah Hex and put him on it. So there's Jonah on the horse. Of course, I can't really get him fully on the horse, and I can't really get him to sit on it too well, just with the design of him, and then trying to get him on the saddle with the stirrups and all that. So it's kind of keeping him up in the air. So probably have to mess around with him a lot more to get him to properly sit up on the horse. But he does look good overall, just the way he is there. But of course, we do also get his cards. So there's a nice picture of him on the general, so it looks pretty nice. And then, of course, we get his story on the back, which it says Jonah Hex's life was blighted by misfortune. Born in 1839, the son of a brutal drunk, Jonah was abandoned by his mother and sold to Apaches by his father. Raised as Native American until jealous rival No Tante betrayed him, Hex returned to the white world and, despite hating slavery, fought for the Confederacy of the Civil War. Afterwards, he sought out childhood sweetheart White Fawn and killed No Tante. His punishment was scarification with a burning tomahawk. As a bounty hunter, Hex was hired by Amadeus Arkham to catch serial killer the Gotham Butcher. This uncovered 2 secret societies, the Court of the Owls, and devotees of the Crime Bible. Exploiting the rivalry between the groups, Hex and Arkham defeated the Crime Bible acolytes, forging a friendship with Alan Wayne, who funded the first Arkham Asylum. So there's a good story, especially connected to the story from the comics there that he's in. But overall, pretty cool for this Jonah Hex figure. Like Jonah Hex, like the horse, I just wish, as usual, with McFarlane stuff, it worked out much better and I could actually get him to sit on the horse properly and look cool and all that. But cool that he comes with all the weapons he does, the different belts that you can hold different weapons with, the way he looks overall, the horse looks pretty nice as well. So just overall, a lot of goodness with this figure design, and very awesome to get Jonah Hex in our collection. Well, that's it for our DC Multiverse McFarlane Collection Edition figures, where we got the Red Hood, Ragman, and Clock King, as well as the gold label Jonah Hex with the General. So all 4 of these are really cool. Love these collector's editions where we get, you know, more improved figures, with especially all these having fabric capes and everything, makes them all really cool. But we also get cool characters, so getting the Red Hood, especially the original version, is awesome to go with all our Jokers. And then getting characters like Ragman, Clock King, and Jonah Hex are all characters, not A-list characters, but characters I know about and like, and happy to have added to the collection. So very nice to get all of these figures added. So let me know what you thought of all 4 down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.